welcome back. Today we are going to be tackling a task that I have been putting off for about a month now, and that is taking our winter sown milk jugs and potting up all of our perennials. So right here I have one perennial potted up. This is going to be my blue false indigo, and I have been waiting to do this because I have just been so busy planting everything else out into the cut flower fields and all of my raised garden beds. And I finally actually just got my vegetables in. That took forever. And last year during Mother's Day, I had almost all of my winter sown milk jugs planted out because I did a ton of perennial beds. Well, this year I have a lot more perennials. However, the space that I plan on planting them in isn't quite ready yet. And that is going to be where we're knocking all of our trees down. If you're new here, I have a lot of my flowers in the upper part of my backyard, but we will be cutting down some trees at the end of October, and a third of that space I want for perennials. Oh, and hey, by the way, if you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and my average first frost date is going to be about mid-October, around October 15th or so. So I want to pot up what I can so that I can plant them out as quickly as possible. Since these are perennials, I'm hoping that they might do a little bit okay if I do plant them out late. If not, we're going to see where I can winter them over, and then I'll transplant them out in the earlier spring. I did that a lot with my Indian blanket flower, and those did phenomenal. They were transplanted from little containers out to where the snapdragons are actually behind me, and then I put them in their final spot. So they're doing great. They're going to start blooming probably around this week or next week, and I want to get some more perennials established so I can use those blooms at my roadside flower stand. So I'm heading into my second year. I'm trying to get some more perennials in. I have lots of coneflower. We actually had, out of the 4 milk jugs, my hydrangeas, I have 2 of them still kind of surviving, but I really want to pot them up into some better soil. I have some blue false indigo. We have a lot of Rebecca that is going to be perennials that I want to plant out as well. And then I have a ton of coneflower, which I'm not quite sure where I want to put them, if I want to add them to the landscape or not. I'm going to see what might bounce back at the end of the year with my perennial strip. So we have a lot of different places, but what I will be using is going to be all of my Bootstrap Farmer trays. So I have everything already filled up with some DIY potting soil. I have topsoil and compost out front. I added in some perlite and also some peat moss for drainage. So I have all of these. I have all 5 of them actually. And we are going to try and pot up everything as best as we can. So some of these perennials might be potted up individually like this blue false indigo, and some of them will be potted up using the hunk chunk method, which I will show you. That is definitely going to be my Rebecca. There's probably going to be 10, 15 plants in that one tray. No worries, I will thin them out later, but right now we are going to start with some blue false indigo. We are going to work on some of our hydrangea clippings, which I'm super excited about. And I have 2 of them right here. So as you can see, some of them, they did not root and they died, but I do have some, and I do have some roots popping out of the back. So I'm hoping that if I pot these up, they'll do a lot better and they're not going to be so overcrowded, and they will be in some better soil. So 2 of them I did have to throw away, which is going to be unfortunate. We do have 2 blue false indigo, which I'm super excited about. I have a lot of the Indian blanket flower that I collected seeds myself. So these, they are covered, it's been raining pine needles like for the past 2 days. It's super windy here. These we will be using the hunk and chunk method to pot them out, so I will show you that as well. Here are some more of my hydrangeas that made it. These ones, oh, there's some slugs on the bottom and some other critters, so that's why I want to pot them up. And then I have some more perennial black-eyed Susan. I think I have I have 5 of the black-eyed Susan, 2 blue false indigo, 2 hydrangeas, and then whatever I have left over, we will start moving some coneflower in there. So I'm very excited to pot these up, get them in a nice great spot where the bugs can't get to them on my deck, and we'll see where we plant them out in the fall. So I'm going to change the camera angle, and I hope you can see what I'm doing because My kids broke my good tripod, so I just ordered a new one. But I do have, again, all of my Bootstrap Farmer trays. These are going to be perfect. They are 3 inches deep. They're super sturdy. The bottom trays are very sturdy. That is going to be perfect because these are going to be very heavy with the amount of soil that they are holding. And then they also have a nice little tray where you can slide them in so they won't be moving around everywhere. And they're, again, super sturdy, and I loved having my tomatoes in those. So we're going to try and use all 5 trays, and we'll see how far we get with the winter sown milk. If not, we will move on to my dollar store little circle 3-inch pots, which will be just fine as well. But we're just going to try and clean up the backyard, get the milk jugs in washed and stored so I can use them again next year. So let's get to it. So I found a much shadier spot. It's been a few hours since I got this all set up and prepped. It's gotten hot. Little man is out playing with some trucks, so we had some visitors. So right now I already have one of my blue false indigos in one of the pots. So we are going to continue and fill up this tray. As I mentioned, I have 5 of my Bootstrap Farmer trays. They are filled with some pre-moistened potting soil, and they are a nice, good, like 4 inches deep, I would say. And then it's 3 inches right here. So I'm very excited to add everything to it. I'm hoping that I can grow these on and then plant them out later in the fall. So we will see how that goes. But I got to make sure that I put my tag over here. And we started these back on December 26th, believe it or not. So this is going to be Baptisia Blue False Indigo. And all I did with this is I have a butter knife. And these I want to pluck out singly. So this is already pre-moistened, as I said. So I am just going to make a nice little hole. Take my butter knife and just slowly tease the roots out. And being very gentle, not to damage anything. But if you do it nice and slow, and since the soil is wet, it should come out pretty good. So here are my roots, and we are just going to feed them into our hole and then backfill. And it's as simple as that. Give it a good press, making sure that I have all my air pockets out, and I'm only going to put 1 in per pot for these. Now, when I get to my Rebecca, that's going to be another different issue. We will be using the hunk and chunk method, where I will actually take the whole entire block of soil out of this milk jug by flipping it upside down, holding it, and then I'm just going to tease chunks apart. So you'll tease the roots apart. No worries, you might lose a couple. But I overseeded those greatly because those were all saved seeds, and you just never know. So as you could see, I have a whole carpet of Rebecca, so those are going to be fun to plant out, and then you can always divide them later on, or sometimes it's just like the survival of the fittest. Whatever one is taller and larger, it will usually push out the smaller seedlings because it's competing for that sunlight, and you might only end up with a handful anyways if you had more so beforehand. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'll move it in closer if I can to show you. It's a little bit harder because I don't have my normal tripod. So we might not be able to get all of the camera angles, but all I'm doing is I'm actually just going to probably go through all of these first and just create a little pocket so I can put the roots in. And this butter knife is like the best thing ever. So we're just going to do this. And then I'm going to do another tray worth. I'm pretty sure they're the same exact seeds. I'm not 100% sure. So this was the blue false indigo. Yep, and this one is too. So hopefully we'll have a good tray's worth. And super simple. Again, I'm going to take my butter knife, find one, and I'm just going to gently tease the roots out. And these have been in here since December, and since it started to warm up, they really took off. These were definitely nowhere near to be planted out, I would say like a month ago. And since I don't have its permanent home, I'm going to just try and transplant as much as I can. So I'm going to plant this one, backfill, and give it a good press, and move on to the next. It's going to be as simple as that. You just kind of have to have a little bit of patience. But once you start getting a rhythm going and you start loosening up that soil, like those roots are awesome. It'll go pretty quickly. And then I will give everything a good water in, and they are going to be put on my potting bench. Now my potting bench gets some morning shade. It gets like some midday sun, and then once the sun goes over a little bit and it hits the greenhouse, it'll get some good afternoon shade. So they're not going to get too much in roast, where they have been getting a lot of shade where they were holding before, like all afternoon and midday. So there's 3 of them right here. I'm gonna see if I can still tease them apart. If not, I don't mind planting, oh, look at that, super simple. All 3, they kind of just broke apart, so we're good there. So 1, 2, I probably might end up having 2 trays of this, which would be great. My parents have a really nice established plant, and I was very tempted in stealing it, but I was like, nope, I have them in my winter sown milk jugs. And then you can also use this, by the way, to help guide the roots down in your stem. I was very tempted to steal it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to use ones that I grew from seed, because I'm also understanding that with perennials, you have to have some patience for them to mature, which I don't mind. And it's still raining pine needles over here. Super, super windy. All right, and then we have this one. Nice long root there. Guide that down. And push it in. All right, I'm going to keep on going until we're out of the blue false indigo. Then we're going to move on to the hydrangeas, which I'm excited to take a peek and see if they are rooting or not. I know I saw some roots poking out of the bottom of some of the milk jugs, but I'm not quite sure how many, but that is super important to me. And then with anything that is left over, we'll work on the Rebecca. And as I mentioned, I still have my dollar store pots too that I'll put the Rebecca in there. Those actually sold pretty good for me. I sold 1 star in a pot for $3 each earlier this spring, because I had a bunch extra that wintered over, and then I moved the rest where I needed to. So if I have a bunch left over, maybe I will sell them later in maybe September or end of August if they're a little bit bigger, and then that way I can sell them, and then some people can plant them out before it gets too cold. So let's keep rolling on with this, and then I'll catch up with you once we get to the hydrangeas. Moment I feel like at least I've been waiting for, possibly you, is going to be and see how our hydrangeas did. So this is the Annabelle hydrangea. I got some clippings from a friend, and we make sure that there was a node below the soil, some above the soil. I will say they all greened up. They did phenomenal there. It's whether or not they stayed alive after it started to get super warm out. So I'm going to take one. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to try and lift it. Oh, this definitely has roots. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited right now. All right. This one has some, you can't really see it too well, so I am going to just stick that underneath. But this one definitely has, oh my goodness, a whole entire root system. How awesome is this? Oh my goodness. So I clearly need to get rid of some of this soil. This one doesn't have as much. So I'm going to just dump some of the extra, compact it down, and I'm going to take this, try and get some of these pine needles off, and stick it in, and then I'm going to take some of that extra soil that I just dumped out and place it on top. Oh my gosh, how exciting is that? I also can't tell, and I apologize if the camera looks blurry, is blurry. I dropped it in the dirt. Thought I did the best job cleaning it up, but I can't really tell from here. But awesome. All right, so we have that one. All right, this one, nothing yet. Still gonna just stick it in. See if we can keep them alive. look at this one's got some roots. How exciting. So now we know, okay, we did lose 2 whole milk jugs, but even with that, the fact that they were just going to be clipped off anyways to get ready for the spring, I will happily even just take a couple of them. Extra plants. I even have some that are starting from seed, and my hydrangea trees I started from seed last year are probably a good like 10 inches tall right now. What? Yep, go ahead. All right, so this one, oh, look at this one, you can see really well. Some little roots that are starting. Oh my gosh. I am just so excited. Okay, so right now we have 5. This one does not have roots yet, but nonetheless, again, we are going to baby it and hope something happens. No roots on this one, but it's still green. So we're going to keep that one, and then none on this one. We're going to see if we can keep that one alive, and then this one, not quite sure, but there's still a little bit of green. So we're going to keep that one in here too. All right, and then we have 2 duds. So we're going to see our next one. Here is the next hydrangea. We already have some that look like total goners. All right, so let me try and loosen this. We have one more left here. And this tag, so we took these cuttings on February 16th, just as a reference. So February 16th, and then this one doesn't have a tag. But that's okay. All right, so we're going to try and loosen this one. And it has a handful of roots, which is great. Oh my gosh, so excited. Because I really want to do a hydrangea border. So when we get our trees cut down, I'm hoping to have some hedgerows, or not maybe whole hedges, but I want 4 borders with some hydrangeas. I'm going to take some seedlings of my dad's burning bush because I've been using that a lot for arrangements. It was really helpful with any kind of bouquets that I made for the dance recitals. And then I really want to try and get some different like willows or anything else that I can really use. All right, so we have this second tray done, so I'm going to grab another one. And then I have to get the little guy to sleep soon. I've been putting it off because I've been in the zone, finally getting some things done. All right, let's see here. This one definitely has to have some roots because there is some give. Yay! Oh my gosh. Do you see them? Oh, I'm so excited. Again, I apologize if my camera is a little bit blurry because I dropped my phone and I don't know if it's just because it's so sunny, I can't tell, or if it's actually good. All right, we are on a roll, everyone. On a roll here. Oh my goodness. Definitely some roots. And you know what? I also did an experiment. Wow. This one has a ton. I did an experiment. I actually took some of my trimmings, or like I cut like 2/3 off of some of mine. Hey, are you squirting me with a squirt gun? Mason, no thank you. No, get the trees. My son has squirt guns for his birthday. Stop, no thanks. And I am getting attacked right now. It does feel good, I will say. Anyways, so I took some of the cuttings when I was trimming them, and I actually just stuck them in the ground, making sure that a node was underneath. And I would say I probably put around 20 of them around, and a good 6 or 7 of them definitely had a lot of like resistance. So I'm hoping that that works out and I have some extra ones for the ones that I have out front. Okay, so some great news. We have, I believe it was 16 hydrangeas that actually rooted, or some that were like kind of getting close there. So I am beyond thrilled. So we're going to baby these. A lot of them actually had some really good root systems. So I'm going to call that a win. And then I'm just going to ask if we can do this again and again. And then keep my production of my hydrangeas up because I absolutely love using them in arrangements. And they're so nice and bulky. So super excited. All right. Now we are working on the hunk and chunk method. And we are going to be starting with some of my perennial Rebecca. So this is not the Indian summer. I think it's called triloba, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. I saved these seeds. I purchased from a big box store 2 of these triloba plants a couple of years ago. So I always try and save some seeds. And I planted these out last year and I have no idea where I put them whatsoever. I started some indoors with you guys under the grow lights. Those are planted out, so I'm excited for those. Some of my Rebecca are starting to put off some buds and should hopefully be blooming. I think I have maybe 1 bloom, so that's great. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant these. Now, unfortunately, I probably should have not have topped the soil as much as I did, but I can always just take some out. But I'm going to just try and make a really big hole because when you do it like this, they take up a little bit more room. So we're just going to swirl it around and I can always just take some of the soil out after. So I'm going to take this. We are going to flip it upside down. Like I mentioned, these are just covered. Oh, and there's some critters in there. Covered in pine needles. But here is our root system. I will flip it over and I am going to get this table extremely dirty, put it over here because it's already breaking apart. And I don't need this extra soil yet, so maybe I'll put some of the extra in here. All right, I put my plant tag in, and all I'm going to do is just try and get a chunk already. All right. I mean, these roots are phenomenal. So I'm just going to take this. You can prick them out one by one. I'm making a ginormous mess. And I'm just going to tease a chunk apart. And that's all I'm going to do is just tease a chunk. This one has probably like 8 plants in it. Not too concerned, but I am concerned about the amount of soil I put in here. And I'm just going to put it down. And we will slowly push it into that hole. And then I will go back and backfill. There we go. And I kind of just squeeze them together in the middle. And you can plant these out just like this into your garden. You might lose a couple while you are taking them apart, but you know what? I overseeded, so I'm not quite worried about it. So like for here, for instance, I lost 1 and it is dangling by its root. I can put that in with some others later or just discard it because I have so many. So I tease them apart. I have a handful right here, and then I'm going to place them into my pot, and then make sure you just backfill. And I try and leave it right here. You can take a huge chunk if you would like. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. I have some extra cups with nothing in it, so maybe I'll do that. All right, so if we have this big chunk like this, you can leave it. And some of this out. There we go. And I just like to put that, and then we'll just backfill with what we have left over. Some twigs in there. I did this in the landscape. It came out great. And I have lots of plants. You can, again, tease them apart more if you would like. I mean, look, I already have 3. This one probably has at least 10 or so plants in it. So this one is ripping so good, and I just wanted to show you in a second how satisfying it is when it's all matted and rooted together. You can literally just take it and it just comes apart so nicely, so you can make your chunks as big or as small. Again, I don't have time to individually pot these up. If you did, you will have so many plants, but for me, this is just way too many. So I'm just going to take them in small clumps like this, stick them in, press it down. And then sometimes if I have like this little one right here, I'll just put 2 of them in together. I'm just going to backfill this, but I'm just going to end it here. I'll show you what they look like once I have them all planted. Going to make sure that we give them a really good water, and then I'm going to leave them in the shade for now. It's about 84, 85 degrees, super sunny, so I just don't want them in the sun at this moment, but then I will move them over to my potting bench where they will stay until we plant them out, or I might move them over to where the other milk jugs are because that seems to be a nice spot as well. So if you would like to stay updated and see how everything is going, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I will see you all next time. Happy gardening. Bye.